Hello everyone, in this video we are going to learn how to cross-check and create QuickBooks customers for Stripe customers. So in this video we will learn how to integrate these two applications, Stripe and QuickBooks, in such a way that every time a new customer is created in Stripe, the same customer is created in QuickBooks, given the condition that it does not already exist in QuickBooks, which means that we are going to provide a filter over here. So we will create this automation with the help of Pabbly Connect, where our trigger will be the new customer created in Stripe and our action will be to create a customer for the same details in QuickBooks. Let us learn how to do that. In this video, we will learn that how can you cross-check the customers in QuickBooks and only create the ones that are created in Stripe but do not exist in QuickBooks already. So let us quickly sign in into our automation software, which will take me to this place where I can see all the applications provided to us by Pabbly, and we are going to use Pabbly Connect to create this automation. Click on Access Now and you will reach the dashboard of Pabbly Connect. Reaching here, you can see a big blue button on your right side where it's written Create Workflow. Click on the button and give a suitable name to your workflow. I'm going to name it as Cross-check and create QuickBooks customers for new Stripe customers. Click on Create and then a blank workflow will be created for you. Like you can see on your screen, you have two windows, Trigger and Action. Trigger says when this happens and Action says do this. So now before we start with the functioning of the workflow, make sure that you've opened your Stripe account and your QuickBooks over here for an easy connection with Pabbly Connect and also to cross-check whatever you are performing the action over here. So now Trigger is going to be the first application where we are going to make changes manually, which will trigger the working of this workflow, and the Action application will then perform the action automatically. So the trigger over here is Stripe, because the customers will be created in Stripe and we have to create them in QuickBooks as well, given the condition that they do not already exist in QuickBooks. So the trigger event over here will be new customer. And then Pabbly Connect provides us with a webhook URL which is used to connect Stripe and Pabbly Connect in such a way that every time a new customer is created over here or entered over here, then that information is fetched by Pabbly Connect and received as a webhook response right here. So these are the instructions given to you. You can click on this link webhook settings, which will straight away take you to the page where you want to start the process rather than finding the place from here. And then click Add Endpoint to reveal a form to add a new endpoint for receiving events. So when you reach here, you have all the webhook URLs that have been created over here or pasted over here to work for different situations and conditions in the Pabbly Connect workflow. Now you have to click on Add Endpoint and a form will appear in front of you where you have to enter the endpoint URL, a description, and also give the event when this webhook has to work. So from here, first we will copy our webhook URL and make sure that the endpoint URL is entered and customer created is the event that you have to set. So when you paste it here, description is optional. If you want, you can type over here. The current version and events on your account is fine, but the event you have to revert back to this endpoint URL is customer created. Okay, now that you've chosen this one, click on Add Events and in the end, Add Endpoint. Now they are connected. Okay, so it's done and it has started to wait for a webhook response, which means that we have to create a sample customer in our Stripe account so that this response is received over here. Okay, so for your better understanding, you can read this note given below. Now log into the application where you have added the webhook URL and do a test submission or record so that the data can be recorded here in the webhook response. So let us go to our Stripe, go to customers on the top menu bar and add a new customer. Okay, so I am going to add the name. This is the name. Then we have the email address, the description if you want. Okay, so now you will enter a country so that the country code can be decided. Okay, and then we have the address. So you can enter the address over here and the postal code and the state. Okay, phone number, and make the shipping address same as the billing address. So these details are to be filled according to your need. Once all of this is done, click on Add Customer. Click on Add Customer. Now this is done and then we will go back to our Pabbly Connect and see that we have received a response. The type is customer created. We have the name over here, the phone number over here, we have the ID created for that specific customer, and these all are the details that we filled in creating a customer. Now what we have to do is As you remember, the name of our workflow is cross-check, which means that we have to check first that this customer exists in QuickBooks or not. And if it already exists, then no customer will be created. And if it does not exist, then you have to make sure that the customer is created. So first choose your action application as QuickBooks. And the event over here will be find a customer here. Click on connect, add new connection and connect with QuickBooks Online. Reaching here, you will see that it will automatically detect the presence of your open account over here and it's connected. Now you have to enter an email address that will detect and cross-check in the existing contacts or customers of QuickBooks that the customer is there or not. So here we have taken the example, the email address that we have over here is of an existing contact in our QuickBooks already, so that we can create this workflow that if the customer exists, then this workflow would not move. Because if we enter an email address over here which does not exist, there wouldn't be any response right here. So we will map the email address from our trigger application and then click on save and send test request. And here we have received the response. See, we have the details customer over here and which shows that yeah, max result is 1. Okay, so there is a result. And then we have one more thing that we have a customer ID as well. This is the customer ID. So this customer ID makes sure that yes, the customer exists. So we will put a filter after this step that if the customer ID or the result exists, then the workflow would not move ahead because the customer is already there. But if it does not exist, then move ahead. So here, first of all, put filter. Now, filter is a feature that is built inside Pabbly and it makes sure that whatever condition you are putting right here will decide that the workflow will move ahead after this step or not. So here we are going to choose from this QuickBooks customer ID. This was the customer ID and it should exist or not, because if it exists, then the next step will not be followed, but it should make sure it does not exist. So if the customer ID does not exist, only then here the condition is going to be false, but yeah, we need this condition. When the customer ID does not exist, then we will add the next step which will be followed. Okay, so this filter is that like that. If the customer ID does not exist, which means the customer does not exist, and that will make sure that our next step that is going to be to create a customer in QuickBooks will be performed. So now choose your action application in QuickBooks and the event over here will be create a customer. Click on connect, and now you don't need to click on add new connection because we have already connected QuickBooks once. So now select existing connection and click on save. Now you have to fill in certain details over here that are required to create a contact. Even if the contact still exists and you are going to map the same information, but given the condition that this filter works and the customer does not exist. So the Stripe is having all the fields and the same fields will be updated over here. So you have to map the same information correctly, like the name. So what is the name of the customer? This. So whatever is going to be the name in Stripe will be here in QuickBooks as well. What is the title? So yes, we added a description called customer. So customer 001 is the one. Okay, no company name, but we had mobile number. So you can type hint in the search and map data and therefore you will find the mobile number. Email address as well. So enter email address and then we have the billing address. So enter all the details related to that properly so that next time when you won't be doing it manually and it will be done automatically. So everything is in place. Here is the city. We had the postal code as well. And it's done. So nothing else is left over here. So we will simply click on save and send test request. And see, it says duplicate name exist error. So now because we have clicked on save and send test request and it says that the duplicate name exists, so it won't be created again. But it will be working only given the condition when you add a new customer in Stripe. So it will be automatically updated in QuickBooks when the customer did not exist. Since we have already seen what happens in the case when the customer is already existing in the QuickBooks Online application, so let us now run this workflow once again and create a new customer in Stripe. Now this is going to be a new customer and then the filter would allow that it's not an existing one and therefore in the end a customer will be created in QuickBooks as well. So let us create a new customer over here. This is the name, then we have email address. Choose the details accordingly. give the address over here, and then the state. So we have filled in the details of our address. Now you can keep the same as billing address, so you don't need to fill shipping details separately, and almost all the other things have been done. You can choose the basic details over here if you want, and once this is done, click on add customer. No thanks, and the customer is created. Now you see ABC person, email address, and all the details are over here. The date of creation is also given over here. So now let us go to QuickBooks and go to our customers and leads. Here it is. See, customer 012 ABC person. If you open this, you will see this is the billing address, shipping address we just now entered, which means that as soon as you create a new customer in Stripe, a new customer will be created in QuickBooks as well, given the condition it's not an existing customer. So this was the whole workflow. I hope this helped.
Not just these applications, but you can integrate many other applications using Pabbly Connect. If you have any issue regarding Pabbly, you can email us at support@pabbly.com. You can ask your queries at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any doubts regarding our pricing, then you can connect us through this given website. If you found this video helpful in any way, then make sure to share this with your friends and colleagues to make their life easier by creating automations. We will meet in the next video. Till then, do not forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.